Now, within Photoshop, prior to saving this, I want to get file information. So under File, there's a tab called File Info. And File Info gives me a screen, which I think you should probably be using. Document title, and this document is called Chinatown Sepia. Author title, I just throw an illustrator here. Description, this is a dragon celebration. Chinatown, San Francisco, California. Copyright. Ooh, copyright status. It is copyrighted. Copyright notice. I throw in option G, which gives us this copyright symbol. And I believe I did this in 2009. And my name, all rights reserved, we'll say. How's that? Copyright info URL. I throw in my website here. If you want to get really fancy for web searches and such, you can throw in keywords such as Chinatown, comma, San Francisco, streetcar. That might be one word. I don't know. I'm going to throw it in twice. Once with space, once without. Because it's metadata, it will be searched one way or the other. I want to have it both ways, depending on who's typing. And perhaps the word Chinese. Perhaps the word Chinese American. Hyphen America. And we'll leave it at that. Say OK. Now, what you'll notice is that in the top of my document, right here, it now has a tiny copyright symbol attached to it next to the title. And at this point, I'm going to save it. File, save as, or we could just save. And it wants to save somewhere, so I will save it on my desktop with this new name as a Photoshop document. Now, the reason it's a Photoshop document and not a JPEG at this point is because it is a layer rather than the background. So I automatically go to saving as a Photoshop document, because as you continually save as JPEGs, Photoshop will recompress the document over and over again, and you'll get more and more JPEG artifacts. So the less that you're saving as a JPEG, the better. I only save as a JPEG as I go to the web. So, but as I'm working within the document and saving it various iterations, I will save as a Photoshop document, a PSD. Save. Now, at this point for the web, I'm going to image size, and my image size out of my camera, roughly, it's fairly large. It's 2,000 pixels wide, and that's overkill for the web. My particular site supports as wide as 800, and the height has automatically generated because I have constrained proportions and scale styles. So this is currently 800 by 1000 roughly at 72 dots per inch, or pixels per inch. I say OK, and it shrinks. Pop. At this point I go File, Save for Web, And it brings up another dialog box. I have to shrink this because it pops up on my other screen. And this dialog box, the quality is, it's currently optimized as a JPEG quality of 100. I can shrink that down depending on how small I can get. It really depends on how much JPEG artifact you can handle as an artist, and your work, how you want your work displayed. Since this is a sepia drawing, it's not falling apart, and I'm way down to the quality of 33. And at that same time, we are dealing with a fairly tiny file of 158 kilobytes. So at 33, I save and I give it a new name because I don't want to overwrite my original photograph. Chinatown Sepia, I actually throw my family name, if I can spell it right. So it's Zdepski Chinatown Sepia on my desktop. And that's that part. Now, from this same document, we are now down to 800 wide. From this same document, I want to create a thumbnail. So I go to image size again, and I'm going to shrink this down to, oh geez, let's say 120. Tiny. And I'm going to expand this so we can see what we're working on. And you can see at 120 pixels wide, you really see all the artifacts. And I'm at 600. I've zoomed in to 600%. So, but 120 wide, and I'm holding Shift with my crop tool, and it gives me a perfect square. And I'm just going to center this or kind of get it where it makes a interesting vignette. That worked at the top, so I'll just double click that. And now File, Save As, or Save for Web. I can save for web again. And here we go. We got a tiny square. Interesting vignette. It's just enough of a different color up here to make this interesting thumbnail. And when I go save, I will give it roughly the same name, except at the end I go TH. Now this is just shorthand for me because I understand that a TH means thumbnail. So Zdepski Chinatown Sepia TH, and I save it to the same place. And the reason I save these as a group with the same name is so they will be grouped alphabetically, and I can easily retrieve them as a paired couple. Save. And that is that. Now you'll notice I got a view history here. View window history. The actions that we've taken in our history. I have two places where I've actually shrunk the image size. Now I want to go back in history to file info, and I'm going to fit this in the screen. So basically at 50% there we have our original cropped drawing as I wanted it as a Photoshop document. Now we've already saved that, I believe, on our desktop. It's got the copyright status. I'm just going to save it again and close it. And that is how you save your artwork for the web. However, it also works for print if you have enough pixels to deal with for a print situation. Thank you very much.